Welcome to another live stream, my friends. Well, guys, Bitcoin absolutely collapsing today. Shouldn't come as too much of a surprise to you guys because I have been giving warning after warning about the potential downside price action that has been loading for quite a while now. And although yesterday, most of your favorite influencers calling out that, hey, the government shutdown is ending, this is super bullish. Well, look what happened after that. I was warning in my Telegram that after breaking this downtrend, basically this aggressive downtrend we had yesterday, I was saying that basically I was out of my shorts at the time. I wasn't going to short until we either ended up hitting a STUBER fib rejection point, which we actually got front run, or if we got a lower sell signal on the MDX Trendmaster on the 5-minute. And after that printed, the rest is history. We absolutely just dumped to the downside there. So, and guys, these are all warnings that I was talking about on recent live streams, and more specifically in my private Telegram channel. I was giving very stern warnings recently for the last several days and actually weeks. It goes back a lot further, but these are just my more recent ones. But guys, I want you to pay attention to what I said here. Basically, we are literally printing lower lows and lower highs on the 4-hour plus MDX Trendmaster lower sell signals, and the weekly lost 3 important support levels. Literally nothing in the chart saying we need to go higher. We could, yes, but there's nothing suggesting a reversal on anything 4-hour or higher time frames, and absolutely crushed a short today. Basically just by playing that little bit of weakness that I was warning about. So if that is something that interests you, you want to see more examples, how I pull fibs, how I look at market structure in general, just trying to be the voice of reason in this market. If you are interested in seeing that sort of stuff and more examples, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code, get into my private Telegram channel, you guys. Really just trying to be the voice of reason and trying to keep FOMO at bay, because I see so much random hopium out there that is backed by zero charts. It is backed by fundamentals, but the thing is, there is so many more places to make a mistake when analyzing the entire global economy than a few random colorful lines. And just understanding very, very basic market structure will take you so much further as a trader. Investing, sure, fundamentals are important and fundamentals do push the price. However, trying to trade that specifically on shorter time frames, damn near impossible. But guys, on the weekly chart, I've actually been warning for about 5 weeks now. As soon as we lost this order block, this red block, I've had outlined here for about 5 weeks at this point. And I had my concerns that if we ended up flipping this old support of this order block into resistance, that we could be in some serious trouble. And guys, after losing that level, we respected that old support as new resistance for 3 entire weeks. And then for the last 2 weeks, we've actually been seeing the rejection, not just the retest, but we already got the retest for 3 weeks. And now we've been getting rejected for 2 weeks. That rejection has pushed us below horizontal support, a very important support level, because this was our high. This is our slightly higher high. This was our confirmed higher low. That horizontal level, very important on the weekly time frame. That's our macro support level. And we got pushed below that. As well, we have this upward diagonal support trend line that dates back to August of 2024. So about a year and a half ago. This is a very serious trend line. So the fact that, basically we lost that first important level, it ended up flipping to resistance and ended up losing a double whammy of very important macro structure on the weekly time frame. And then this week, our little pump at the beginning of the week, we got that retest. So that's the thing. It's not just that we broke a level, an important level. We broke 3 important levels, and we have retested every single one of them. And it is confirming itself as resistance. That is a huge red flag, you guys. Just to do a bias check, because let's just say, oh, Stu, you're a perma bear. Let's do a little bit of a bias check here. Let's check the inverted chart. Guys, I would be so bullish on this chart, breaking a macro downtrend, breaking a horizontal lower high, as well holding this order block as support. Just everything about this screams a bullish chart. And so many people would agree with me on that. But when you actually flip it to what the chart actually is, people cannot shake that bias and get rid of that moon boy hopium and are having a hard time with that. And unfortunately, it is the same chart, just inverted. And if you do that bias check If you are thinking that, hey, this is an extremely bullish chart, I want to long the shit out of this, well, I've got bad news for you if you're a moon boy, because in reality, things don't look so good. That being said, guys, both of these charts, they are on the logarithmic scale. I always look at the log chart when I'm looking at the weekly, just so we can check the whole macro. We can check every market cycle together, kind of a thing. So let's just take off the logarithmic chart and look at the regular chart. It's true that we do have potential support, right? So that's one thing that I don't want to completely ignore at this point, is that, absolutely we could come a little bit lower, even here, whatever. It's very possible that we're getting close to an important support zone. It's just the fact that how well the logarithmic chart is being respected, the fact that it had 3 and actually 4 nice touch points before breaking and flipping that support into resistance. That's a very well respected line from both sides. Whereas this one, so far, only 2 touch points. I consider these both one, just because they are so close together, basically the same cluster of support there. So I'm considering that one. Here's our second touch point, and we are looking to get our third fairly soon. So it's absolutely possible that we end up finding support soon. It's just that, understand, even if we get a bounce off this level, I wouldn't be too surprised if we did, and that ends up being our third perfect touch point. And if we end up losing that line and flipping it into resistance as well, just like we've done on the log chart, unfortunately, that would be a very, very bad sign for Bitcoin. I already think that it's looking terrible, but I'll at least pay respect to support when I see it. It is a weekly level, also lining up very close with this horizontal level here. So yeah, there's potential support, right? However, as I mentioned, there is nothing supporting as evidence that the downtrend is over. In fact, look at this, guys. The last several streams I've been talking about the 4-hour structure and how, we had a lower low, right? We're just setting lower lows, confirming lower highs. The ALGO master also printing the same bearish STUBER fib setup that I had outlined there. Now, guys, unfortunately, if we want to look at the structure here, as I said, we're setting lower lows. We have set another lower low, you guys. That means if this is our new low and lower low, this is our confirmed lower high on the trend. So, I mean, the good news about this is, at least if we end up breaking this, just being that the structure is getting a little bit smaller, if we break it, we at least have some sort of tighter invalidation for a bullish theory. But at this point, we would still need to take out this level, do something like this, break that level, and then get a retest like that. Sure, I would be willing to take a stab at some longs in that case if we break the lower high. If we are just going to assume that the bottom is in because we go to the upside for a couple hours, I mean, that just goes to show why retail gets wrecked over and over. And I mean, an even better example and a nice display for us of retail getting wrecked is this chart that I've been pointing out every stream for the last several weeks. I've been warning about it in the Telegram, and I was basically saying if retail starts longing and trying to long this dip aggressively, it is going to be fuel for the fire. Look what happened ever since that, basically where we started to see retail stepping back in, building those long positions. Notice what happened. That's right where we ended up topping. And since that, we have seen the longs just continuing to climb. Retail is currently almost 76% long, you guys. Absolutely desperate to try and catch the bottom of this move. Just understand that there is nothing suggesting that we need to be in an uptrend, that we need to go to new all-time highs. Yes, it's possible. And I do think that a bounce is coming soon. But what I want to see for that is, and what I'm guessing is going to happen is, like I said, we're getting close to some important support levels. It would be very, very natural to end up reclaiming this support level that we've lost and seeing some sort of a bounce. If we end up seeing that, you can bet that basically retail is going to wait until we end up getting up to resistance again to start longing again. But if we do end up reclaiming this, I can almost guarantee that we're going to see retail shorts start to climb. And if retail does start trying to short this, because retail loves trading into breakouts, and a perfect example would be shorting into support. And I understand that, hey, well, how can you say that we're shorting into support when we've already broke support? Yes, however, You guys know that I love using my 115 fib as far as invalidations. That was not broken yet. So we are still technically at swing fail support level. And if retail starts shorting into this little fake out, that's just basically a perfect bear trap, right? Seeing people get bearish way too late, shorting into this, and then seeing some sort of a bounce, reclaim this level and see a bounce, and everyone will say, "Oh, that was a fake out." We're going back to all-time highs now. When in reality, there's a good chance that we would just be basically creating a new STUBER fib resistance, right? So just understand that if we do see retail start shorting this move and we do see that climb back up into this range, just understand that at a little over 105,000 US dollars, we have very, very strong resistance coming back into the picture. So that's where you'll see on social media, all the bulls, all the moon boys will start celebrating that things are bullish right as we hit resistance. It's very, very typical, just like people start getting very bearish at support like this. So I'm really not opposed to seeing some sort of a bounce, but that does not mean that, all the red flags are lifted by any means. Everything else looking obviously weak as hell as well. With Ethereum, for example, I'd pointed out a couple of STUBER fibs recently on the 1 hour, both of them playing out absolutely phenomenally. Solana, I was talking about, we still have MDX Trendmaster printing lower sell signals. Hype, we still have MDX Trendmaster printing lower sell signals. Sui, lower sell signals. Zcash is seeing a bit of a recovery here, but also has a potential STUBER resistance, basically starting around 531 US dollars. I myself, just because this one has been known to get such strong legs from time to time, I would rather wait and see if we get some sort of a swing fail at our resistance level, rather than just laddering in my typical short entries for a STUBER setup, for example, with a bunch of laddered entries, something like that. I'm more so interested in waiting to see if we get some sort of a swing fail up here, but it is something worth mentioning. Let me just catch up on the chat. You guys, for those of you who appreciate my stern and stubborn warnings recently, I've been trying to be so vocal about all the concerns that I've had in the market recently. If that has at all helped you, prevented you from, FOMOing into resistance, from getting wrecked with the rest of the moon boys, you just appreciate that. I'm looking at the charts for what they are, keeping a level head, being the voice of reason. If you appreciate that, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you're new here, you guys, seeing in the chat that a lot of familiar faces. Love to see that you guys keep coming back to these videos. That means you obviously care what I have to say, and I love to see that. So, yeah, other than that, guys, I actually have somewhere else that I have to be right away. So I really just wanted to do a quick update, kind of show you what's going on very, very quickly here. Some important levels to watch for and what to kind of expect at this point until I see retail start trying to short this, basically. That's when I'll assume that there is some sort of a bounce coming. But for now, even if we see a bounce, I am way more interested in shorting rips rather than longing dips at this point. But obviously there is potential from either direction. Just depends on how you're actually executing your trades, right? Because at the end of the day, reacting is way more important than being able to predict. But all this price action that we've been seeing, guys, it's been very predictable in my opinion. Ever since, even when we topped out, and everyone said that that was an unpredictable move that we ended up having, even though we already saw literally the exact same setup once before. Everything's just been reacting quite well since that. That's where we created our downtrend, right? Unfortunately, that big liquidation event that we had almost 4 weeks ago now, that took out our higher low on the trend, right? High, higher low. We took out that level. And now we've taken out that level. And now we've taken out that level. We are literally just printing a very, very clean downtrend. It's a beautiful price action as long as you don't have a bias. And that's what this channel is all about, is actually trading the charts for what they are without a bias. Very different than investing, for example, is I'm actually a trader and looking to trade this price action, and it has been very clean to the downside. So yeah, it's not the direction that everybody wants, including myself. I would love to go parabolic. It's way easier to trade an uptrend in a parabolic market, but unfortunately it is what it is, and I would rather trade the chart that is in front of us rather than what I hope is here in a couple of months from now. So anyways, guys, with that, I think that's about all I wanted to go over. One more time, if you could please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And like I said, if you're interested in seeing more examples, how I pull fibs, how I look at market structure, just my overall thoughts on the market in general, some of my trade setup ideas, and some of my favorite trade strategies and all that sort of stuff right from where we were shorting above 125K. Yeah, if that interests you, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code on the screen, get in there. And my partners at BloFin are currently also giving this promotion until there's a few days left. This goes until November 18th. Nice deposit bonus for my followers, basically. So with that, thank you again, guys. Sorry I got to cut this one short. Thank you so much for being here with me for this very quick market update. One last time, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.